Which is better to help you get more customers and clients, social media or an email list? We're going to be talking about this today because this is a really important topic to discuss and help give you awareness about what are the pros and cons of both social media and having an email list. I'm going to be sharing some quite shocking stats with you today that might help you just have a little bit more clarity and help you make a decision if you've been thinking about using one and not the other and stuff like that. So this is going to be a really fab conversation. So make sure you stick around for the whole video, the whole episode, join in the conversation with me. Would love to hear your perspective as well. And do take some notes as well, because I'd love to kind of make sure that you can take some awesome value away today and walk away feeling more confident to know what's going to help you get more clients, what's going to help you convert more into sales to help you grow your business. So welcome to this week's episode of the Brilliantly You Business Show. So happy to be here and have you here. If you're here with me live, do comment in, or if you're watching this on the replay as well, comment in, let me know who you are, where you're watching from today. Love to be able to chat with you live, say hello, give any shout outs, and obviously answer any questions if you have any along the way. So I'm streaming live on Facebook. Hopefully everything works this week. I had a few issues last week, so I'm streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So fingers crossed everything works today. And every single week I put out a brand new episode of this Brilliantly You Business Show where I talk about different marketing and mindset tips to be able to help you grow your business. So in case we are meeting for the first time and you're new here, my name is Jenny Stevens, and that's exactly what I teach. I specialize in the business mindset, helping you add more systems and automation so you can attract your perfect customers and clients and have those processes so you can actually enjoy your life that you want and have your business working around that lifestyle that you're really looking for. So it gives you freedom and having a business that you absolutely love along the way. Okay, so let's talk about this. So social media or email lists. I'd love to hear first off, how are you currently right now getting your sales, getting customers or clients? Are you using just social media? Are you using an email list yet? Are you using both? Are you using neither? That's an option too. So I would love for you to comment in with how you're currently getting your customers right now. What method are you using? And also let me know if you are using an email list yet or not. Would love to just kind of hear where you are right now. Or if you've even been thinking about it, maybe you don't even know, like, hey, why would I want an email list? What does that even do? So I want to talk about some of those pros and cons today and help you, like I say, help you just have some clarity around what's the benefit of both individually and how they can actually work together really nicely. Okay, so I want to just start off with a few pros and cons, and then I've got some really interesting and quite shocking facts for you when it comes to what these platforms can do. So everybody nowadays, when you're building a business online, you just think social media. I need to have a presence. I need to have a following. And quite often people can feel like it's all about the numbers. Like, oh, I need to build a really big following. I need to get more engagement. I need to learn how to hack the algorithm. And all these things can sometimes take over, right? Like I know I've been, guilty of falling into that little trap before as well. And you can focus on sort of vanity metrics. And the thing that's really important to remember that at the end of the day, there are so many different ways to market your business, to market your products and services, and they all work in their own right. The main thing, though, to really look at is however you are doing things, is it actually working? Are you actually converting people into customers. That's the goal, isn't it? You want to be helping people. You want to provide your service, do what you do best, offering your products and services that's going to help people, and you get paid well in return. That's the goal, right? So if you're building online, social media is a huge part of that. But what I want to kind of challenge you a little bit on today, if you are sort of solely focusing on social media, then there might be some things that can help you to see how you can protect yourself a bit, which I'll talk about, and how you can make things work even better, even more effectively, okay? So some pros then when it comes to social media. Everybody, the really great thing I think that's really nice about social media is it gives you a bit more of an instant access to brands, to people, to companies. And that's a really nice thing. People expect for a company, a brand, think of like retail as well, but whatever it is, they expect to find some kind of social media presence. Companies that don't have even a page or a profile on Facebook, at least as a bare minimum, it's like, what the hell? You are in the dark ages, really, if you don't even have anything. Because people are lazy. They don't want to pick up the phone. They want to be able to send a quick message. So you've got that instant access for communication, but also just to stay in touch, communication really comes under that, doesn't it? So that's one big thing, is having that instant access to people when it's appropriate. It doesn't mean you have to be on, available 24/7, but there is this kind of feeling of instant access. Wouldn't you agree? The second thing is that your customers, your clients, they're hanging out on social media. And that's a great reason to at least have an online presence, because you want to be where your people are. And it's a great way to get your brand, get yourself seen. Because if your ideal customers are spending their time hanging out on social media in their spare time, in their lunch break, in the evenings while they're watching EastEnders or, whatever the latest show on Netflix is, then it's a way for you to get seen. So it's really important to be where your ideal customers are so people can find you. The other great thing is it builds up trust, because you get to share a variety of stuff, especially in the stories feature on Instagram and Facebook, is you get to show, when you're a personal brand business, which is who I sort of specialize working with, you are the brand. And so people don't just want to see promo, sell, buy my stuff. You get to show who you are, share the bit of the behind the scenes, what you're up to, sharing your pets, your kids, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But it's a nice way for people to get to know you as more of a whole than just, not as a whole, but, like, oh, that's my innuendo brain coming out of me. People get to know you on a deeper level, get to know you as a person, which really helps to build up more trust and more influence. And that's a really big key. So whatever you're doing, you need to have a social media presence, but it doesn't have to be all that you need, okay? And I'm going to talk more about that as well in a second. The other great thing is you get to build up a community and build up some brand loyalty. If people are following you for a long time and they are constantly consuming your content and enjoying it, and you can really create this really lovely sense of community, which is great for that loyalty, for retention, to keep people coming back for more. And that's a really great benefit. And the other thing, and this is something that I really love, is the fact that you can actually use ads, paid advertising, to get in front of your target audience, in front of your ideal customers. You can place ads that's going to help get you seen by more people. Okay, so those are some of the pros, the benefits of using social media. Now, some of the cons is you are reliant on the algorithm. You're relying on, engaged people and engagement to help get your content seen by more people. Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform it is, you will be rewarded when people are engaging, if they are consuming and watching your videos, if they're liking, commenting, sharing, it will push it out to more people. But you are relying on the algorithms, and it all comes down to, are people finding it useful? Are people entertained, educated? Are they consuming it? Are they enjoying it? And you'll get rewarded by that, by then whatever the platform that you're using will then show it to more people. So you don't control that. The platform does, which is a con. It's distracting and noisy on social media, isn't it? You can literally be, 1 minute you might be reading a post and then a message might pop up if you're on a desktop one, or on your phone you might get a notification that takes you away. It's like constant squirrel, isn't it? You're like ding 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 ding, ping pong with the attention. And so it's a very distracting and noisy place to be. And when you're thinking about taking people, viewers, followers, whatever, and actually converting them into a paying customer, that's not always that effective, is having this distracting place to be. And with that social media becomes more of you then distracting people and trying to get attention to then start consuming your stuff. So it's more of a disruption. Like if people are scrolling through the news feed, you want to disrupt. Is that the right word? I think it is. You want to disrupt their scroll and capture their attention so that they can watch your video, they can read your post, they can, consume whatever content you're wanting them to consume to see you. And again, that can be a downside, is you're just trying to distract people from what they were doing and find you. You can easily lose people, like I meant, kind of with their distraction, the noise, like you can easily lose people. Like how many times have you seen a great post? It might be an ad or it might be an organic post, but it might be something, but then you forget about it and you can't remember who it was. If it doesn't really stand out in your mind that you take note of who it was, especially if it's somebody that you're not already following, then you can easily lose people and they forget you. And we don't want that. We want them to remember who you are because you're awesome and you've got some amazing stuff to share with them. It's harder to find posts again that you liked, isn't it? It's much harder to do that. And one of the biggest things is you don't control social media. You don't control the platform. If there is an outage like there was recently, if the platform goes down, like for technical issues, or if they go bust, you're screwed. Because if your whole business is just relying on social media and something happens, you're a little bit fucked, to put it bluntly. So that's a huge, risk factor. And I talk a lot about, protecting yourself and making sure that you're not fully reliant on it. There's been businesses that are making, millions and millions of pounds and dollars, and something's happened to the way that they work, or the platform goes down and their business has, hugely impacted and plummeted. And we don't want that. We don't want that for you. Now, when it comes to email lists, there are some pros and there's some cons. So I want to talk about those now with you. And this is about building your business, but also it's about getting more customers and clients. So some of the biggest things, actually, I'm going to do the cons first and then go on to the benefits. So the downside of the email list when it comes to converting more customers is, and please let me know if you are one of these people. Some people have like literally thousands of unread emails. I know I've got a load of my unread, number right now is 1,866. And I'm quite organized and try to keep on top of my inbox. I mean, that is a combination of like 5 different email addresses. That's just in my mail app that I've got. But I mean, it makes me cringe sometimes when I see people that have literally got like tens of thousands of unread emails, the notification on their phone, and I'm just like screaming a little bit. But there are people that they hate emails, and they never read them. And so the people have so many unread emails, they're not going to see it. They're not going to be seeing your stuff. Open rates and click-through rates do drop the longer that people stay on your list. And so this is all about people not seeing your stuff. And that's a big thing, with social media, is that such a small amount of people actually see your stuff. And actually, one of the facts I wrote down is only 5%, and that's generous, are actually going to see your post, and that's out of your followers, and it might even be less than that. But this was just based on an article that I found earlier. Only 5% of people will see your posts on social media. So that's quite a big thing. Now, the benefits and the pros of having an email list is, when it comes to sales, this is probably the biggest one, right? It's the highest return on investment around. The average is around $40 to $1 spent. So you've got an ROI of 4,000%. I mean, that's insane, right? You spend £1 or $1, whatever. You spend $1 and you make back $40 for every one you spend. That's massive. So 4,000% ROI, return on investment. Whereas social media has only got a 28% return on investment. And social media can be a lot harder to track in terms of even where those sales have come from. But that's huge, because it's about how do we get that return on investment. And so that's the biggest one. The email is still the biggest one around when it comes to that return on investment, 4,000%. Also, though, email, and how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel about brands and people, personal brands, companies, retail, like that? How does it give a perception to you by them having an email presence, I guess, if that's how you want to call it? If they have got a way for you to be able to join an email list, what does that sort of say to you more about them as a brand? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So do pop those in the comments for me to see. I'm just curious to see how you think that can affect a brand's presence. What you think about them. So I guess it's sort of like their reputation, like how do you see them as a professionalism, things like that. Because for me, I feel like it adds another layer of professionalism. It adds more authority and credibility when a company has actually got an email presence. What do you think? Would love to hear your thoughts on that. The big thing is you own your list. I talk about this all the time. So I've got lots of other episodes, and I'll put any other relevant resources and blog posts and episodes that I've done in the show notes. So make sure you go and check that out after you finished watching or listening to this episode. But you own your list. So like I mentioned with social media, if something happens and Facebook goes down or Instagram goes down, or, suddenly they go bust. I mean, I can't see them actually going bust, but, outages happen, things happen. You don't own it. You lose your network. But if you can take your network and your following and have them on your email list, you own that. You can back it up. So even if the email software goes down, like, you can always have a backup and have that list, and you can literally take that with you wherever you go. I've got, mentors and people that I follow, like massive, massive leaders in the industry, and they all say that if they started over again from nothing, they would build an email list, because you can use that so well, especially when it comes to getting customers. And owning the list and owning what you've got is so important. And it's something that you've really got to take seriously when you're running a business online. So there are some other things that people expect emails. So if you buy something, you will probably be trained, and you'll just do it naturally. You go and check your emails to get any of that sort of important information. So that's where people go. They want the important stuff. And I think because it's so hard to find stuff on social media, whereas an email, you can organize it, you can, do whatever you want, but people will go to their email for like the important information. And you think about everything, flights you buy, tickets, everything, it's all done through email. There's less distraction, right? So if you are in your email inbox, you're not going to be distracted by 10 different things because you're just there. Yes, you might have other emails there to read, but it's not so distracting because you're there for a reason, and you can be more intentional when you're in your email inbox. There's a much higher conversion to sale than there is social media. So I've already kind of mentioned some of that in terms of the return on investment, but even just the actual conversion rate, because you could have 100,000 followers on Instagram, but how many of those are actually converting into customers? And that's a really important thing for you to measure. And if you're not tracking any of that information, start now, start today, because that's going to help you. You don't want to be just creating a load of content for the sake of it. You've got to actually make sure it's working. So where's my little stat where it comes to the sales? Oh, I've lost it. But where did I put it? I've made notes in multiple different places. Where was it? I wrote it down. Oh, maybe it was the ROI. It was the click-through rate. That's what I was thinking about. So in terms of people actually clicking to, take a look. So if you're putting a link out for an offer that you've got, so a Facebook click-through rate average is only 0.07%. I mean, I don't even know what that is. I mean, it's minuscule, right? So less than 0.1%, not even 1%, 0.1% are clicking through to whatever you've got. Whereas with an ad, so if you are doing any paid ads, then a benchmark is like 2%. A 2% click-through rate to your link is deemed as pretty good. That's good. Whereas email, okay, the average click-through rate is 2.5%, and that's from total people that have been sent the email clicking. But the average, and again, a benchmark of how many people that are opening your email are clicking through is 20 to 30%. So it's massively different, right? So that's a really important metric to monitor. So do look at how you might be able to start tracking things if you're not already. But you need to know, are your efforts actually paying off? If you're using email, great. You need to be tracking that. And again, look at, are your emails working? Or if you are mostly just using social media, okay, are they actually converting into sales? Another thing is that people subscribe to emails. So to actually get promotional messages, you might sign up for retail and brands because you want promotional messages. And 44% of consumers will actually check their email for promotions. And that's a huge percentage. Whereas Facebook, people will only check Facebook is 4% for promotions. So if people are wanting to look to buy your stuff, email's the place that they are going. 44% of people are going to their emails to look for offers. So that's huge. So, lots of stats kind of flying around. And Phil, I want you to also think about your own behavior. What do you do when you first get up in the morning? Do you check your emails? Do you check your social media? And which do you do first? Would love for you to share that with me. I'm super curious. What do you check first yourself as a consumer? So take off your marketer hat, your business hat. What do you do? Do you check your emails first, or do you check your social media first? I check my social media first, mostly just because when I pick up my phone, I see the notifications. But when I'm ready for work and I sit at my desk, I check my emails, I go through that, and then I get on with stuff. Do you check your emails daily? Love to know that as well. Let me know. So yeah, people do check their emails first. 9 out of 10 people check their emails once a day. That's massive, right? So these are all opportunities and things to think about, and think about yourself and your own behavior. There are also people that don't even have social media accounts. I know it's crazy. I've actually got a few friends that aren't on Facebook or Instagram, and I think it's crazy, but it's just not their thing, and that's totally cool. But that's the thing. Not everybody has a social media account. Whereas I would put a lot of money on it to say that almost everybody has an email address. They have email. Okay. Some people hate social media, but there'll be people that they will always check their email. Let's see this comment come in. I check both email and social media equally. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll come back to the other question later on. So there's lots of things to think about. One big thing that I want to explain in terms of how to think about using both social media and email together in a way. Social media, I see it more, and this is going to be more. Social media is the way to drive traffic. Social media is a way to be able to get awareness. People can't find you for joining your email list. They need to find you on some kind of platform, don't they? And so for a lot of that, that's going to be social media at some way. So social media is almost like the top of the funnel. It's getting awareness of you, finding you, knowing that you exist. That's what social media, at least that's a huge part of what you can use it for. Even if you don't know how to do, there's so many different things that you can do. But for the kind of general bigger view, look at social media as being the way to raise awareness of you and your brand and your products and your services, okay? You can build community with people with social media. But what I would then encourage you to do, if you're not already, is look at how can you then take people from social media into an email list. People go to social media to be entertained, don't we? We very rarely will go to Facebook or Instagram to actually learn something. And this is where you've got that distraction mentality, because Facebook and Instagram, those two particularly, are there. That's where people hang out, and TikTok. People hang out there to have fun. I know for me, when I've had finished dinner, watching telly, I'll go through social media and I'll, have some fun watching TikTok videos. Like last night, I was literally crying with laughter at, a couple of videos. And I like that, just to kind of kill time and just have a bit of fun, laugh, and just kind of see what's happening around the world with friends and family and different stuff. If I happen to come across people where I might watch a short little video to learn, maybe, but that's not the intention of, the last 2 hours before I go to bed. Whereas other platforms like YouTube and Pinterest and Google, people are actively searching for stuff. And so it's all about, however people find you, and, you need to have a strategy that you can have your content out there so people can find you. But ideally, you want to then take people then into an email list where you can be more focused, where you can be more dedicated, and really maximize that return on investment that I talked about, that 4,000% return on investment, because you can close a lot more sales for the most part. Again, there's going to be, circumstances, there's always the small percentage of people that don't need it. I mean, there's also lots of people that are wildly successful with social media and they haven't even got an email list, and that's great. But if something happens, then they're screwed. So being able to cipher people from social media and have that protection, that asset that you own with an email list, is going to make the two things work so well together, because you can build the community. You can have new people finding you with social media. They can get to know you, but then you're going to do a lot more nurturing, influence building, and closing more sales with email. Email, I see, as like that foundation to converting people. And like I mentioned, any marketer, if you kind of buy any course, any follow any sort of guru or influencer, or when it comes to marketing and learning how to build your business, I bet you that every single one of them will tell you to build an email list. And so this is why it's so important. And I love list building. I love list building because I'm not relying on some algorithm, or is this, I love social media as well. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love social media. I love having fun with it. I love trying out different things. And that's how people find me. That's how I get new people into my audience. But the goal is always to take them from a social media follower, which doesn't pay the bills. Followers don't pay the bills. And get them and move them, everybody, to on my email list. And that's where I can be more intentional, more focused. I can sort of control what people are consuming in what a particular order. There's so much more that you can do with it. So social media and email they come together for this beautiful concoction, but it's hopefully giving you that clarity with how the two can be different, how they can complement each other, but also how they actually work. Because again, if you're just starting or you're new and you're just trying to focus so much on getting a load of followers and building up your engagement on social media, yes, that's important, but you've got to have a goal. You've got to be able to have a strategy that's actually going to then turn those followers, turn those people who are watching your stories and maybe they're going through your carousels or they're watching your Facebook lives into the next step. Take them through the process that you want them to go through, that's going to help build up more trust, that then is actually going to let them know about your awesome offers that you've got, and hopefully then convert them into a customer or a client. So some food for thought for you. And if you're not doing any list building yet, then I'd love to help you with that. And so I wanted to let you know, I'm going to put some resources in the show notes for you to help you if you're brand new to this and you're like, I haven't got a clue where to start. I've got a great free masterclass that I can, I'll put the link to that in the show notes for you to go through if you need more of a, how the hell does this work? But if you kind of know a bit about list building and you really want to get started with it, I'm actually doing a live workshop that I'm really excited about doing, because in order for you to build an email list, and it's like, well, how do I get people from social media follower, or they may not even be a follower, they might just come across you somehow. How do I actually build that email list? And that uses something called a lead magnet. You're going to provide them something irresistible that they would really help them, whatever niche you're in, an industry you're in. You're going to provide them with something awesome that they will basically sign up for. They will say, hey, I want that. That's really going to help me with the problem that I've got right now. And in exchange for that, you're going to then ask for an email address. So this workshop that I'm putting on is going to be, I'm actually going to help you to create your own lead magnet over 3 days. It's going to be like short, like an hour to an hour and a half sessions covered over 3 days. So this is going to be fab because I talk a lot about list building, but I really wanted to do something extra to actually help you create an asset that you can create in a short amount of time, ready to go, so you can actually start getting it out into the world and launch it and start building your email list. So if you are interested in that, just drop me a comment below. But I'll bring up, you can also go to jennystevenscoaching.com/lead magnet. I'll just grab the link for you so you can, this is going to be over 3 days. I've got to kind of do a little run through to see exactly how long it's going to go, but I'm going to give you templates. I'm going to give you worksheets to work through so you can really get this created, because I don't just want to teach you the theory of it. I actually want you to be able to walk away with something tangible that's ready to go, and you've got the steps to know how to create this. So this is a low cost right now. I've got a special for just 48 hours. It's going to be £56. That's all. After the first 48 hours, so this is literally, you are the first people to get access to this. So from today, from now, you've got 2 days to get this sort of special introductory price, and then it's going to go up. Okay. So would love for you to join me in that. Creating a lead magnet is going to be one of the best things that you can do, and beneficial for you to have that solid foundation. And so it's something that needs a bit of time to go through. And the reason why I'm spreading it out over a few days is because I don't want you to just learn. I want you to be able to actually action and implement during the session, and then in between, then the next one, because I want you to be able to actually walk away with something that you can create during our time together, rather than just learn, and then you're suddenly left on your own going, I don't know what to do next. So that's what I thought. I wanted to think about how I was going to do that. So you can go and sign up for that right now. You can go and grab your spot. This is going to be happening in just under 2 weeks' time. I wanted to put this out as quickly as possible. So go and grab that, save your spot. Say all the final details are just being finalized, but you can get your spot secured. You'll get some of the, we're going to have a pop-up Facebook group. So you'll get some of the information now, and then the finer details in terms of time and all that kind of stuff, how to join, will be given out later on. So yeah, this is going to be fab. You know, I asked people, you know, what do you want? And building an email list and having a lead magnet is one of the biggest things that I get asked about. And actually creating the lead magnet is can be such a blocker for people. They don't know where to start, how to create it, what do you put in it, la 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 la. That's what we're going to be covering. So if you want to join me with that and get my help, I've built a lot of email lead magnets. Some haven't done so well, some have, but I have a process that I go through, and I'm going to take you through that. So yeah, this is really exciting. So it's not necessarily one is better than the other as such. There's pros and cons to both. You know, I do close sales from social media, but more for me more do come from email. And so I want to be able to help you create that solid thing. And when you can grow it, when you can grow an email list and then of buyers and customers, you've always got a group of people to be able to go to with maybe a new offer, or if you want to run a special, or if you want to run a course that you only open a few times a year, you know, everything that will all come back to utilizing that email list and get more out of it. Because once you get a customer once, you're much more likely to then have them buy again. And so with social media, you're relying on people seeing it, the algorithm, and all of that kind of stuff. So I love an email list, but I use the two together. And so hopefully you just can see you've got a bit of clarity. Obviously, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. We'll say in terms of building a lead magnet, we are going to dive into that. You can ask all the questions that you need inside of that workshop that we're going to do live together. So I hope you join me on that. And I know you're going to find it super valuable and super awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, there was another question. Let me just see. Hi, Jenny. Some people subscribe to my newsletter but don't confirm. Let's just bring it up. But don't confirm through the automated confirmation email. So some people are unconfirmed. Is there anything that you can do about that? I mean, I guess, yeah, you need to let them know, so depending on how you have people sign up for your email list, if you've got that confirmation email turned on, it's like some countries you have to. I personally turn it off, but if you want that on or you have to for legal reasons, then let people know as soon as they sign up. Make sure you go and confirm your email so you can actually have the emails delivered. So tell them, if you've got a thank you page in a funnel, tell them on that, put it in big writing, go and confirm your email. So you tell them, but there may well be a percentage of people that just never will. And that's their tough shit, really. That means they're not going to get whatever they've signed up for. But obviously you want them to actually get what you're giving. And especially if you're paying for your leads, if you're doing paid ads, you don't want to be paying money for people that aren't going to actually utilize it. So that's what I would be suggesting. Cool. All right. Well, I hope you found this useful. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them below. But yeah, this is the stuff that I love teaching. This is one of my strengths. This is one of my favorite subjects to teach. So I cannot wait to do this workshop and say, I'll put a link to this workshop in the show notes, and a few other episodes that might be useful for you. Again, if you want to just learn a bit more about how this is beneficial and why you want to build a list. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this useful. Do feel free to share the love if you think anybody else might find this useful. Make sure that you are following and you're subscribed so you get notifications of when new episodes drop. And I hope you're on my email list, because that's where I share. Normally, that's where I share things first. They get some special stuff from me, the stuff that I don't share on social media. It's always the first place where I share what I'm doing, like this workshop and stuff. Just today, I just happened to launch this workshop actually with this show first. But that's a one-off. I don't normally do that. So anyway, so it says, okay, so I can turn off the confirmation. Yes, you can. There should be a setting where you can turn it off, but there are certain countries, I think Canada has to have it turned on for their legal reasons. So again, depends on where you live, but most places you can just turn it off. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I hope you found this useful. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate the comments and say any likes and loves and shares. Always appreciated. Look forward to hopefully seeing you on the workshop. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for another episode of the Brilliantly You Business